this is the most important part. What? You did this last time in 2021 May. That's where the large cap all stopped off last time. Great. Since then, it's been trending higher. Bitcoin dominance. Money was flowing into Bitcoin. If it's breaking to the downside at this point right now, that's something you should consider doubling down on. You, me, and everyone else is ready to see XRP running up. The news, the narratives which we are watching right now in front of us is hyper bullish. Not just super bullish, it's hyper bullish. That's for sure. But then when you come into the price action, you're like, okay, what the hell are we really doing? Do we have some strength to pop through this, to start moving? Because the question of why all these other assets are running up right now in front of you becomes a big question, right? People do think like that. Some of these assets are like 37% up for the day, 88% for the week, 130% for the month. So they are just starting to roll. You have another one which is like 20% plus for the day, and it's just starting, 140% for the year. So you kind of get the narrative and money moving into different asset class. But yes, for sure, you can see that coming. Like if you look at the price of ICP here, it's at $10. We call it out when it was 4.6, saying, okay, we're going to come here to a breakout close to $5. So you're already 100% up, went through two of our targets going towards the third one. Market is giving you all these opportunity. But then the question is, I'm a macro guy in XRP. My biggest bag is XRP. What should you be doing? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Right now, when we go through a lot of these calls, we know that hundreds of people are taking benefit of this. 844 members are looking through this. They're getting the calls on the right time. They're getting all these opportunity calls. Say, YGG, we had the breakout call coming in saying, okay, watch for this. It's an upcoming breakout. And when you look through this, you understand what's happening in the market. But now, if you are still like a little bit confused and looking at XRP, asking the question, XRP is not doing anything. Agreed, the price is still 0.6. What are we really looking at? If that's you, now you're looking at charts like this. At least this is the truth. Yes, you have this section here, but if you zoom a little bit out or try to reduce noise, understanding the pattern, this is what you see. Great. What is that? A cup and a handle pattern, which for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, XRP is following that almost from last 1 year. Maybe it's an algorithm. I don't know. Maybe it's whales. Maybe it's some crazy institution doing this. But we have this happening in front of us. So what should you be looking at when we are in this territory? When we are in this territory, there is something coming. There is something coming. Now, that's just one side of it, looking at the XRP chart. But when you actually erase all of this and then combine the RSI price and then the MACD, you're like, okay, it shows me it really need at least a couple of weeks to get started. A big move to the upside, maybe a 10x from here. You need at least 2 to 3 weeks to get started. So that's like saying, okay, we are not doing anything by the end of this year. In next 2 weeks, we're not watching anything, bombarding in XRP. Rather, we are looking for assets like these to top out. Now, for sure, they're already showing you that the price is going up, the RSI is coming down on the daily. And now we are like, okay, I'm looking at the weekly, but there is no confirmation here. The price is still going up. You don't know where the roof is. You don't have a divergence yet. There is still a minute possibility that you may do something like this, but it's still just a possibility. You don't have the confirmation until you get a candle like this and the price and the RSI confirms that it's just a small odds in the market. But what we do want to see is these assets topping through wherever they do. Maybe at the current price, maybe at the higher price, but wherever they do it, the profits taken here by the whales, they move into different assets. Now it's in the entire segment we are watching that. If you look at another coin here in the same industry, yes, you're starting to develop a little bit of divergence. Price is going up, RSI is going down. We understand that. You go on a weekly and you're like, no. On a weekly, nothing agrees on that point. You're still hyper bullish, right? It's still showing you maybe you can do another 3 to 5x. So that's a possibility in the market. But believe me, if you bought in this asset at 0.3, you're thinking about taking profit. You're already 10x up. Why wouldn't you do that? So if the price is going towards $6, $8, near the all-time high ranges, now you're asking the question like, okay, that's hard if you're not taking profits. You're already 20x up. So there's going to be a lot of profit taking in this range, and that money again will go into new assets which are ready to ride to the upside. You look at this and you kind of get that validated. The altcoin market, excluding Ether, is showing you we had a clear accumulation. Now we broke the Wyckoff, we went up, we tested that resistance by creating the last point of support, the LPS. Now you broke higher and you're trying to start the phase E or the markup. The moment you get this, it's like boom, a lot of assets are going to run hard. So the news does play into all of them when they start breaking higher. Right now, what's happening is that dollar is inside this channel. It's trying to bounce off, which means you have the price going down, the RSI going up, which shows like, okay, I may bounce up. Test this one. If you get rejected, you go back down. That's a different story. But right now, that's happening in front of us. So you go look at that. You go look at the Bitcoin. You're like, okay, Bitcoin is making a pattern like this here. Ether is following it almost exactly the same. So for Ether, dropping back to like, 2,100 is nothing. It's just normal. Because you had the breakout around 2,100, coming back to retest that range or even doing a long wick to the downside to 2,000 is still normal. It's just going to liquidate a lot of levered guys. But if you look at Bitcoin, now you have a couple of arguments to make. Bitcoin dominance needs to break through this to the downside. Right now, you're at a support. Each time you came to this point, you have bounced off in terms of price and in terms of the RSI. So if we see a bounce, then that's like, Bitcoin is about to go up. All coins are going to wait a little bit longer. But the big thing for us, when you actually go onto the same pattern and look at this, you're like, okay, fine. What do I see here? I can clearly see that the price is going up, right? And the RSI is not. That in itself is a good sign. So if you plot that, you're like, okay, this is going down, that's going up. I have a divergence. So with this, if it breaks lower, we have some room to the downside on the Bitcoin dominance. That gives us an edge being an altcoin investor. Each time we corrected to the downside, it's just a pullback, but we saw a lot of alts going crazy. That's why these alts are already up 10, 15, 20x, right? They are riding through. Why? Money flew into them. Now you actually have this possible double top coming in. It can be also a fake out if you don't see a confirmation. So if the market is not breaking this range to the downside, then you're like, that can be a fake out. But if it does here, breaking the moving average, that means you're looking for that to come down to this range. That's a good one for altcoins, because if you slow down on this, it's a weekly chart, which if we zoom a little bit out, takes you all the way back towards 2021. This is where the altcoin run ended last time. This is the super important point. I would like to reiterate this. This is the most important part. What? You did this last time in 2021 May. That's where the large cap all stopped off last time. Great. Since then, it's been trending higher. Bitcoin dominance. Money was flowing into Bitcoin. If it's breaking to the downside at this point right now, that's something you should consider doubling down on, because that's where those who double down made crazy amounts of money. If you go back in history, that kind of give you the idea when that broke to the downside. A lot of people who doubled down made a lot of money. That was the initial indication, right? So when you are there, you understand this. The market gives you opportunities again and again. So historically speaking, each drop here, altcoins ran higher. So now, while you understand this possibility that the Bitcoin dominance may go down, you take that equation into Bitcoin, saying like, okay, if that happens, Bitcoin needs to correct to the downside. It's not bouncing high. If it bounces, that's a different story. But right now, you're looking at that short-term charts and the odds plotted by the short-term charts. So here, you are literally like, okay, we're still above the moving average. We're still flirting with that level. We personally would like to see that breaking to the downside. But there are a couple of things. This on the RSI as of now is showing you a range where the RSI is making a base. But if you do plot this, it doesn't seem like the price is making a base there, right? So you have this happening in the price action and the RSI is at the same flow, which usually shows a divergence. That's a divergence which we are noting on a daily. So the amount of sellers increased, but the price did not come back down. That's something positive. Now you go on a weekly chart and you want to put an argument like, okay, what does that mean? It still means when the RSI is going to correct lower on a weekly, you would actually see this coming down to this level and bounce. We've been talking about this from like 2-3 weeks. If you see a divergence, okay, that's it. This bounce, wherever it is, 80,000, 100,000, wherever it is, that's going to be the roof. If you don't see a divergence there, that means you still have further upside. We're going to follow all of this because the market, I think, is going to be extremely volatile. When this dust settles, when Bitcoin break to the downside, come down, make a support here somewhere around $38,000, $39,000 and start to consolidate and then slow bounces, you'll see altcoins taking off, altcoins going nuts. Why? Money is flowing into altcoin. So if you are prepared in the altcoin market, you are watching this happening in your portfolio. They are running up, they are running up, they are running up. Don't go levered when the market shows you things like this. Especially if you are levered like 5x, 10x, 15x. That's going to be bad. Because yes, these are short-term moves we are talking about. But what about a move like this? That's a 10% move to the downside. So the price may do a 10 to 15% to the downside. Which means if you are levered like 10x, you're already out. If you're levered 2x, 3x, okay, fine. You see red numbers, but you're still in the trade. It recovers, you go up and you make profit. It's up to you. But this time is not going to come back. If that drop does happen, you have a lot of opportunities. I've been posting a lot of opportunities in the last 2-3 weeks. We have plotted hundreds of crypto. Now, remember, you have like 60,000 coins in the market. We're just talking about 60 to 100 assets showing you the real possibility of going up. So if you like to have those, join the 840 plus members in the Patreon. The link is given in the description below where you can get all this plus the one-on-one sessions with me where we go through, discuss on a face-to-face session where we go through your portfolio, the thought process, the assets, which I think is the best for next 3 months. Do you have them in your portfolio? What your portfolio looks like? What you can most likely achieve based on my experience and thought process. So if you like that, great. If not, try learning as much as possible in TA. That's going to help you massively. Now, guys, if you received value, smash that like button for me. I appreciate that a lot. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.